For the latest in strategic affairs, subscribe to our YouTube channel. Click the bell icon for updates.
Hello and welcome to Strat News Global and welcome to The Gist, our signature show on foreign affairs and security. Hi, I'm Surya Gangadharan and welcome, as you have guessed by the top band Durga Puja bashing, that this is about Bangladesh. And I'd like to welcome our guest for this evening, Saleem Samad. He's a veteran journalist, writer, commentator. He's in the know of what is going on in Bangladesh these days, and he's been closely monitoring the developments of the last week. We've had all these issues of Durga Puja Pandals being attacked by various mobs. So, Salim, just what is going on? Who is attacking this? Is it the Islamist groups like the Jamaat-e-Islami? Is it somebody else? Who is it?
Thank you for having me on this show. Uh, your question is, of course, is very obvious. That's what is being asked and written and spoken. The Islamists, when they bracket as Islamists, they always mention Jamaat Islam. But that others are being benefited, so they are enjoying impunity. I don't believe that the Jamaat will reduce to ashes. One, number two is one of the biggest issues. They cannot. The ban will be totally disbanded because you will never hear anybody from the ruling party or the opposition joining Jamaat Islami, or Jamaat Islami is joining any other this Bourgeois party. So,
Salim, I'm afraid your voice is breaking up. We're not able to follow. Your voice is breaking up. Can you just repeat what you just said?
So Jamaat Islami is being pointed because it's very easy. They are all the writers and researchers and reduced to ashes. They are the election commission has and a verdict is awaiting at the Supreme. That's a point. The Jamaat Islami will not reach further to totally. What is going to happen is that by mentioning Jamaat Islami only or the others, you are excluding other Islamist or fundamentalist parties and groups who are now enjoying impunity.
Salim, I'm afraid
So
your voice
that's
is breaking
another
up.
issue.
I'm afraid your voice is
So you
breaking
want
up.
me to? Okay, let me do another thing. Let me do other. Okay, I hope because I'm trying to. So is it okay?
I'm sorry, we couldn't get you. What was that again?
Can you listen to me?
No, I'm afraid your voice is breaking up.
Oh,
I'm afraid
no.
your voice is breaking up.
So do you want me to
Can we do
switch to
this
the
on your
phone?
phone? Is this...
What I will do, I not use the Wi-Fi. Give me to.
Sorry, those of you who are watching the show, we are having some issues from the internet in Bangladesh. So we're trying to get a way around it. I'm sorry
Give me a
about
few
that.
seconds.
We're trying to reconnect with Mr. Saleem. Could you just hang on? So our focus is, as I mentioned, Bangladesh. We are looking at the attacks on Durga Puja Pandals over the last week. More than 60 were attacked, none in Dhaka. These were all mostly outside Dhaka in places like Kumila and others, really in the countryside. And we're trying to get from Mr. Saleem, who is a veteran journalist there. He's been an independent journalist, so he's not affiliated to any political party or group. So we picked him because he brought that credibility to this broadcast. We need to know for certain just who is doing what in Bangladesh. It's a little opaque there right now. The reports we are getting is that Islamist groups were involved in the attacks on the Durga Puja Pandals. Salim's point of view, which he's going to hopefully he will be able to give us greater detail, is that it's not as simple as that. There may even be sections of the Awami League who are involved in this. Not so much at the higher level, more of lower level cadres where in the countryside who have other interests, maybe the covet property of Hindus or others. So hopefully, I think Mr. Saleem is coming back. We'll have uh, some clarity on this. We've sent him another link. There he is. Hopefully, we can move forward with this now. Internet issues are always a pain, and in our part of the world, yeah, rather unpredictable also. I understand Prime Minister Modi has spoken to Sheikh Hasina. We don't know. Salim sir, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Oh,
You can hear
great,
me?
great,
Great.
fantastic.
Okay.
So let's continue then.
Sorry
Maybe
for the
okay, Tanmay?
interruption.
Great. So, Salim sir, just tell us
Yep.
who these attacks appear to happen every Durga Puja, or is it something which is unusual this time?
In fact, since the Bangladesh was born in 1971 and Sheikh Mujib came to power returned to Dhaka in January 1972, what really happened was on the same year Durga Puja was attacked in Dhaka, Chittagong, the major city. Of course, the government has always described it miscreant, and they describe those people as those who have lost the war with the Pakistan. I mean, that's the henchmen of the Pakistan army. So this myth has been broken after several years when this attack or the vandalism or the Durga Puja continued each year, and it always happened usually before the start of Durga Puja. I mean, the 10 days. So before the 10 days of Durga Puja, it starts when the artisans are preparing the Durga at a place where it's not very secure. because it's done
Yeah.
in a privately
So,
in a village. So that is one reason. Every year this thing is happening. This time, possibly, what has happened has happened all over the country, and it happened
so
during the 10 days of the Durga Puja. But it also happened before this year. This time it happened even before. Many of the year was vandalized.
uh-huh. So, who carried out these attacks? Is it the Jamaat Islami? It is widely believed to be the Islamist groups.
Of course, that is one of the reasons that Jamaat Islam is always fingers, fingers always points towards them. The Jamaat Islam is reduced to ashes, and the Jamaat Islam has already been banned by the Election Commission, delisted, and they awaiting in the Supreme Court, where likely that the verdict will be to ban the Jamaat Islam. So, Jamaat Islam has absolutely will be reduced to ashes by the time when they. So, they will not take additional trouble to destabilize their party. So who else can it be? It can definitely, if the government has not taken any responsibility, like arrest of the party of the perpetrators. Yes, done every time, but it's always arresting the wrong people who are not the mastermind, who are not the organizers, not the agitators. So each year, since last 20 years of this regime, I mean this regime and the previous regime, for 20 years, 2001 till 2021, none of the perpetrators have been brought to justice. Forget about the word called compensation to the victim. And let me give you one small statistic before I finish. The Ain Science Control, one of the leading human rights organizations, only yesterday published in an English newspaper where it says that in the 9 years, 3,710 attacks have been occurred where Hindu homes, temples, and has was vandalized, arson, desecration, and looting.
Sir, Mr. Salim Saab, you're telling me that Awami League is involved in these attacks? Who is involved in these
I
attacks?
let me quote Rana Das Gupta. Rana Das Gupta is the General Secretary of the Hindu Buddhist Christian Unity Council. He did a press conference 3 days before, and where he described that they have found people from the grassroots Awami League and other students or whatever the youth league who have been seen at the site of the vandalism or the attack. That's one. Secondly, they found out the people wearing Mujib coat. Mujib coat means what? Sheikh Mujib used to wear something like Johor coat or Nehru, the way the sleeveless coat. So they
Yeah.
have found them. So here the color is black, so they have found them. But I will not vouch for it. But yes, every time there is newspaper news, every time there's an attack, yes, they have found or caught our league, the ruling party, I mean, at the grassroots level, at the mid level, were caught and handed over to the police. And they had received bail and they leave and they vanish. Vanish means they are totally clean, they clean their hands and they are done. I want to go back to my statement that in the last 20 years, none has been prosecuted. None of the victims was got justice. None of the victims got compensation. How do you describe it? Is the government is very serious? Is the Awami League government serious? If Sheikh Hasina government would have been serious, this would have not been. Let me tell you one thing. All over the world, when there is an attack on the minority or ethnic group, it is always state sponsored. Whether it is in Gujarat, or it is in Chechnya, or it is in Yemen, or it is in Sri Lanka, or even in Myanmar. And of course, Bangladesh cannot be an exception.
So, why would the Hindus are known to vote only for Sheikh Hasina? Why would they be targets of this party if assuming they are ruling party cadres who are doing this?
Okay, the Hindus or the religious minorities, Christian and Muslim, are the vote bank for Awami League. since the 1970 election. I mean, the first
Yeah.
election, which created Awami League as the largest party. Of course, that's a different issue. But since then, the Hindus, Christians, and Buddhists, and of course the Adivasis, I mean, ethnic minorities, they are spread all over the country, especially the north and the south. They have traditionally voted Awami League because they believe that Awami League is the savior. Awami League will protect them. But even this time, they were not protected. So this is one major issue that has been. This is this you do not need any proof of evidence. Now, if you say, what about the vote bank? The last two elections, there was no election. The boxes were filled up
Yeah.
by the police at the middle of the night. So they don't need the Hindus anymore. They don't need the Christians and the Buddhists and the Adivasis vote anymore. The vote is casted by the police. So if you can organize the next, even the next election, they don't need the Hindus. Even and by the way, the Hindu leaders are divided in several groups. That's another problem, that they cannot make an advocacy with the government. They cannot create a pressure on the government. They cannot make sure that their demands and the recommendations are being met by the government.
So what you're telling me is that the Awami League does not need the Hindu vote anymore. They are confident that in the next elections they can win without the Hindu vote.
Well, number one, the next election, obviously you can understand the Jamaat by the time it's banned, and of course they are already banned by the election commission. So that's a major uh, fourth largest party. The, the second largest party is the Bangladesh National Party. Their leaders are already broken into several pieces. They are not divided, I mean, officially, but they are broken into different pieces. And there is no united movement to to make sure of their political agenda. That's the key. So BNP will not be able to contest. Even if they contest, yes, they will contest, but they will not get maybe few seats, 5 or 7 seats that in the parliament. So now they have something like that, about 7 in the parliament. So that's the only maximum they can get. So who else is there? The Jatiya Party. The Jatiya Party, which is founded by General Shah, another dictator. His party is, as you all will understand, is now a loyal opposition. They do not have any seat, and they will not pass. So that's one of the safe sides. So who else is left? The Awami League. The Awami League doesn't care about it. They'll share a few seats with Jatiya Party and maybe give some breadcrumbs to BNP. Okay, we are 5 or 6. Let them have a year so that they can give a facade or international. They say, yes, we have opposition in the parliament. And this opposition has no say in the parliament. But coming back to, yes, they may not need Hindu vote, and the vote will be organized.
Is there a Pakistani role here? Do you sense or suspect a Pakistani role?
Well, I definitely will not rule out. I mean, not in this attack. I'm not sure about that. But let me tell you one thing: that but Pakistan means the ISI was very active during the previous regime, in the Khalidar Zia's and the Jamaat when they were having an alliance. They had funded, of course, through ISI, and this is very official. Everybody knows about it. And the major separatist leader of the Northeast India, they were literally residing in the capital Dhaka. They were given government protection. They were given security clearance for their movement. And of course, you know that Boris Borua had been already involved in smuggling. So once Sheikh Hasina came to power, the first thing first, he had shut down all the bank accounts of the separatists. And in fact, as you can understand, the separatist bank account is being money laundering is done by the ISI. So ISI that those has been blocked. So now it's very difficult for ISI to really to handling money to the whoever they want them to be their ally. So now the recent ally of the Pakistan, of the ISI, is the Rohingyas, the militants, the ARSA.
I see. I see.
The Arakan
So,
Salvation Army. Yes, that's the only organization now. But
they are also being so much guarded by both Indian intelligence and the Bangladesh intelligence. They also cannot even get money from the money changer. So that's, but yes, Pakistan is definitely involved in many other issues. And the first thing is very important to understand that Pakistan has been always been very nasty and naughty when the trial of the war criminals were in progress. And Sheikh Hasina's government wanted to snap diplomatic relations. I reported on the news on the first day in Bangladesh Observer that she wanted to snap the diplomatic relations with Pakistan because Pakistan is always being very critical of the trial of the war criminals. And she even brought back all the diplomats from Islamabad. But of course, the South Asian and India, Saudi Arabia, and United States have influenced Sheikh Hasina that don't do that. I also reported that. I mentioned these three countries and I mentioned the government officials who negotiated with the government. So ISI is here. The presence is being felt. But it is not sure whether they have organized. We need a very thorough investigation. But if before you do the investigation, you claim X and Y and Z, that will save the perpetrator. That will help the perpetrators to enjoy impunity.
So, my last question: how widespread is anti-India sentiment in Bangladesh? One keeps reading about this, one hears about it. How widespread is it?
I will not deny that there is a overt anti-Indian sentiment, and this anti-Indian sentiment has been created since after the war. So after the war, this sentiment is continuing, and those elders who have seen the war, they are still anti-Indian. And let me tell you one thing that you will understand. You have to do mathematics. I'm not very good in math. I barely passed my math exam in my high school. But to explain that majority of the people who stayed back in Bangladesh, except the 10 million who fled the country and became war refugees and living in India, and the Mukti Bahini, and their supporters or their sympathizers. Apart from that, majority had been organized by the Pakistan military, by the Pakistan junta. So those people had been traditionally being anti-India. Their sons and daughters were all anti. So the numbers have multiplied in the last 50 years by new generation born in that
Yeah.
family. So that you have to understand. And again, India is doing a lot because one of the major issues that has been not been solved for 40 years, Narendra Modi, despite there is a lot of criticism in his own country, the border dispute has once for all been solved. The border dispute was created in 1947 partition. That has been solved when Narendra Modi came to power and Sheikh Hasina. So that's one of the biggest issues. But again, border demarcation of the border problem is being resolved. The border management is still lacking. Lacking means there are a lot of gunfires and a lot of people are killed.
Yeah.
And Indian claims that they are smugglers. Bangladesh says they are Bangladesh citizens. So there is a little misunderstanding, and this is often being raised in the newspapers and talk shows, and of course the small,
Yeah.
not very large, but the PhD and not the Jamaat system. The Jamaat system's voice is absolutely being blocked by the government. So they
Okay.
don't have any stage in media. But coming to the PhD, and of course there are many intellectuals, many people who, according to sons and daughters of that generation, who benefited from the Pakistan Army, they are
So,
who are traditionally habitually anti.
yeah. So just to sum up, sir, uh, there is suspicion that Awami League cadres may have been involved in the attacks on the Durga Puja Pandals for various reasons, including perhaps an eye on Hindu property. There is a Pakistani role here. There could be a Pakistani hand here. There is Pakistani influence in Bangladesh. One can't deny it. One can't also deny that there is anti-Indian sentiment in Bangladesh. These are the facts that we have to deal with, and hopefully, India and Bangladesh going forward will be able to do something about this. I understand the two PMs have spoken to each other. Let's hope sanity and some calm prevails. Saleem Samad, thank you so much. We are sorry for the internet issues, but I think we made the best of a difficult situation. Thank you very much
Thank
for
you very
coming
much.
on our show on the
Thank
Gist.
you. Thank you for having me.
And for all of
Nice
you out
meeting
there,
you. Thank you.
and thank you, thank you. And for all of you out there, again, apologies for the quality issues in this broadcast. As you're aware, internet issues is something we are not able to adequately manage, especially if it's from some other countries. And my apologies again. Do keep writing to us with your comments and observations. Subscribe to us on our YouTube channel. Looking forward to more such conversations, and do keep tuning in. Thank you and good night.